Hello, welcome back. Yeah, today I'm just going to be talking about some cybersecurity tips. Just some basic things, nothing too complicated. These are things that average users can do on their own. Now, number one, I would like to say using multi-factor identification to sign in. Now, this is going above and beyond having a secure password. And a secure password should be upper lowercase characters, numbers, at least a couple of punctuation marks, like at least one. Two is better, but at least one. And passwords shouldn't be memorable. It's handy when they are, but you got to beat the hackers at their own game. So, and don't use your passwords on more than one site. So, like a lot of people, the mistake people make usually is they will have a password they think it's secure, and then they'll use it across a whole bunch of different websites and apps. The mistake is if one of those websites or apps gets compromised by hackers or angry staff, whoever just gets compromised in some way, then your password's out there, and that's not good. And then hackers will tend to use that password for other sites, and eventually they'll find your other sites and they'll get into all of them. So multi-factor or two-factor identification is where you got your password. That's your number one, and your second is where use an authentication app like Google Auth, or there's a couple more, but I use Google Auth for mine. And if you're using an Android phone, it's easy to download, and it changes the access codes all the time. And what you do is initially you set it up. I set mine up for Facebook because Facebook has that option, but it's not turned on by default. So you need to go into your security settings and turn it on. So, and other sites have that too. Google has it. And there lots and lots of sites have it now. So you just got to check into security settings. Delete old software you're no longer using. Now this is a good one, and this is something that people often overlook. I've often overlooked it myself, because you keep using your computer, you forget about software that you're not using anymore. And it's good just go maybe every 6 months or so and just go through your software on your computer and see if there's anything in there you can just get rid of you're not using anymore, and just uninstall it. Because having outdated software on your computer can be a problem too, because that software might get compromised in some way, and it's on your computer, so now you're compromised. So this is a good practice, as software is continuously out of date and adds another security hole. So you get the gist of that. And keeping your operating system up to date. Now if you're running Windows, this is very important, and it's also very annoying, because when you are saying yes to updates, sometimes these updates can break your computer literally, or make your printers or your scanner or anything that's connected to your computer may stop working after the update, especially if it's a major update. Now Microsoft's trying to be better with their customers now, and they're issuing updates every 6 months, major updates, but they're having smaller updates continuously throughout the year. But the major updates are the most important ones, and also when you hear about updates in the news, they're when the NSA or some security company is saying you got to get the update because there's a security problem, you should install it right away. But I find when you install these updates right away, there's often another update saying you got to uninstall that update because that update is breaking things on your computer, so we need to install this other update for the update. You can sense the frustration in my voice, but this has happened several times, and especially in 2019 there were several occasions when this happened. But in general, for the average user, like if you just got a computer at home and you just use it for regular things, just turn auto updates on and allow the computer to update itself in the evening. And the key here is to back up your computer, and that's going to be on one of the next slides here, because having a good backup prevents all kinds of problems by allowing you to go back in time. The next thing is try to avoid phishing scams. Now these come in all different shapes and sizes, and the reason why they're called phishing, with a PH is because it's a play on words on actual fishing. Now, fishermen quite often use nets, and they'll cast a net hoping they'll catch many fish, but really it's just casting the net and then pulling it back in and see if you got anything. No. Hackers use phishing techniques like sending people emails from spoofed email addresses, or they may even look like a legitimate email address from a coworker. The key here is to always look for little things like spelling errors, links, if it has more than one link, and also you got to think, okay, why are they sending me this? And I think if you're not sure, and if it looks like it's coming from someone you work with, like a client or a contact, then I would actually just text them or phone them and say, hey, did you send me this email? Because I need to know. And if they say no, obviously, then the next thing to do is delete it. And I think if you're just unsure, delete the email. It's not worth the trouble. Because most of the security problems are coming from email. And because email is a huge security hole in most organizations. It comes down to employee training, staff being knowledgeable about these things and not just willy-nilly clicking on things. Home users, especially when they got multiple people using the same email account, and you just kind of clicking on things. And you should also have show images turned off as default, and that way you don't download images you don't need, because images can be compromising as well. So phishing by its very nature is a con, and if you know what a con is, it's basically comes from the slang, con artist. Hackers quite often they don't always use brute force attacks on your computer systems. The biggest security hole in any network is the people using it, and that includes staff, clients, everybody. Everybody's involved, and people are the biggest security hole in any organization, because people can be tricked and fooled into answering questions over the phone, clicking on email links they shouldn't click on, all these things, right? So this day and age, you can never be too careful, and then if you're in any doubt about an email, just delete it. The sender can always send, if it is a legitimate email and you end up deleting it, you can always have the sender send another copy. Next thing is be careful when clicking on links to websites. This includes when you're doing search engine work. You type into Google, you're looking for something, and be careful what you click on, because search engines don't filter everything, and domain names can be close to the real thing. Just an example here, if you're going to coke.com, well, obviously COKE.com is the actual website, but this is one is C0KE.com or COKEC.OM. Apparently a lot of hackers are registering the domain OM and putting the C on the other side of the dot, hoping people won't see it, and then they click on their malicious website and downloads the code into your computer, and it's too late. So watch out for spelling errors in domain names. And of course, back up your data. Now this is the biggest one, and the reason why I put it last is because I want you to remember backing up your data, backing up your computer. Now there's many ways to do this. You can back it up to the cloud. If you're running a Mac, you got iCloud. If you're running a PC, you got many choices. You got Google Drive, Dropbox. You can also self-host Nextcloud, and I offer this service, by the way. Nextcloud is an open source software program. You can get service from the Nextcloud people, the company that's behind the development, and also there's lots of people that prefer to host their own, because you can download the source code for free and you can host your own server. Now it's a lot nicer when you don't have to worry about all that and you have someone hosting it for you, and then they just basically give you the keys and you run it yourself. So it's basically a turnkey situation, a turnkey service. But the thing is, just back it up somewhere. Even if you buy a portable drive, I just recently bought a 6 terabyte portable drive from Costco, and it was $130. No, it sounds like a lot, but it can cost you a lot more than that by losing all your data. And another tip too is if you're using a USB drive to back up your data, don't leave it plugged in all the time. I had a friend of mine that was backing his data up, religiously, but his computer got compromised, and his backup also got compromised because it was plugged into the computer. So the best thing to do is back up your computer at least once a week, and then unplug the drive and put it somewhere safe. That's the best way, because there's lots of things. I mean, even put it in a safe if your data is really important. Put it in a safe in case of fire, flood, theft, vandalism, all those things. I say the best thing to do is back everything up, and backing up in more than one place is a good idea too. Like have a backup on a drive and also in a cloud. So depending where you live, if you're prone to floods, tornadoes, at least if it's backed up in the cloud, it'll be safe there, right? And use secure passwords and don't give anybody else access to it. And in the event that maybe have a safe person, you can say, if something happens to you, that they can get into it. Okay, well, I don't want to bore you with the rest of the details. So there's many more tips here. I just wanted to give you those 6 tips for now, and we'll hopefully expand on some of those and show you how it's done. If you got any suggestions, or if you have some other places that you'd like to back your stuff up to and you want to let me know in the comments. And if you want me to make a video based on how to back up, I can do that too. And back up to drives, back up to the cloud, and how you can automate these things. Okay, well, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.